at the essence is we enable scientists to build radically transformative companies. We do this through a 4-month accelerator program where we give companies mentorship, labs, and $250K in funding in exchange for equity.
How much equity?
About 10 to 12%. And we reject 3 conventional thoughts, especially in biotech and hard tech. First of all, is that these have to be very expensive, and you have to have a lot of money in order to start. True, you have to have access to a lab, you have to do all these experiments, many, many years of expertise, but we think that taking small steps and doing the right experiments and developing the right minimal viable product or minimal viable data set can get you a lot further along and cause a better value inflection point for your company. A second conventional thought is that scientists can't be entrepreneurs, that you have to partner with a business person, and we think that's not true. Scientists actually make great entrepreneurs. You do it every single day in your lab. You're coming up with a new hypothesis, going out and testing it. That's the same thing as doing business development. You come up with a hypothesis of who might buy your product. Now go talk to them and try to get that data back and get that feedback. And so most of our companies, actually, the CEOs were PhDs themselves that kind of transitioned into an entrepreneurship role. And then lastly, from the biology side, biology is mostly thought of as therapeutics, medical devices, but we think that biology is actually expansive. It's a technology that can be used for all areas of society, just like tech. So biology as a technology, I want to mention really fast a couple of companies that are similar to the types of ideas that you guys have been coming up with. So Viex is doing water filtration. They are using Titus Fans, so derived from mushrooms and crab shells, and making water purifiers. And so the Titus Fan, the nice thing is that because you have these 3D structures, you end up having more surface area to interact with the particulates. It is naturally positively charged, so you're sequestering negatively charged items, and also you're causing bacteria as it comes through the filter to actually break apart because of the positive charge. So that gives a lot of interesting properties that can also be tunable and manipulated to capture different things. Biologics does bioremediation of waste mine water. Specifically, they have a concoction of microbes that will take out sulfates out of the mine water so that you can decrease the toxicity and pour it back into rivers more safely. We are really interested in biomaterials. Lingrove is making this beautiful wood composite that's actually resin and flax based. That looks like real wood. So moving us away from cutting down trees, and actually a lot of the trees have already been cut down, so we just can't have nice things without coming up with new kinds of materials to replace them. Also, materials like what Decamer is doing, which is a completely edible, dissolvable plastic packaging material that instantly dissolves. So you can think of little honey drops that you can drop into your tea and they'll just instantly dissolve. So this is getting away from single-use packaging and hopefully decreasing all the plastic accumulation that we have on our planet. And then from the carbon side, some really interesting uses of taking waste carbon and using a microbial concoction to then make fish food that then gets fed to aquaculture so that we can eat fish. And so this is the microbes themselves are now replacing fish meal, and fish meal is actually just ground up small fish. And due to overfishing, the price of fish meal has gone up and the supply obviously has gone down. So this is a replacement for using microbes to seed our aquaculture. And then also using microbes to produce hydrogen from waste. So taking waste streams and to grow bacteria that are metal-breathing bacteria, and then they can produce hydrogen for hydrogen fuel cells and clean energy in the future. So we cover anything related to biology. So that was just more on the carbon planetary health side. We obviously also work on human health side. We've funded 105 companies so far. So what do we look for in these companies? And what do we prep them for their next round of funding? So the 5 big questions we want to think about, you guys should think about, is one is what is that technical insight that gives you that unfair advantage? So that was a lot of what was already presented, that you guys have these great technologies, and really understanding not just how to create the technologies, but what are the advantages of your technologies over the competitors? In the Silicon Valley, people keep saying 10x. But the second thing is, how do you actually productize your technology? So the technology itself is not the product. You oftentimes can't sell that technology. How do you build that into a product that someone would then buy? So that oftentimes the product will need some more massaging or applications of your technology in order to have a full product. Then thinking about, how do you create a sustainable business model? Are you selling that product and getting paid for it? Are you selling data and getting paid for it? Like, eventually it's a business, so someone has to pay for it, and figuring out how to keep that sustainable and make sure that the economics work. From a venture side, we think of big projects. So our rough question is, does this company touch 1 billion lives or $1 billion? Could this in the future? So even if you were selling one product today, can you grow it so that you have multiple products and multiple streamlines that you can eventually do something really big in the world? And then kind of the core of all this, which I guess you guys were talking about, team and building the team. Is this the team to make all of this happen? So who's on the team, the dynamics of the team, the expertise on the team, and you build from there. Awesome. And then from the pitch side, hoping to see some of these questions addressed. And the easiest way that we kind of put it is very simple. What's new? So that's what's the technology. So what? So what is the advantage? And who cares? So that is, who are you delivering value to that they will hopefully give you money for? So yeah, super simple, but yeah, it captures a lot of what you need to pitch. Awesome. So I'll take any questions. This is a picture from our demo day.
Any questions? Yep, all the way in the back. Right, Steve.
Are you going to be looking at these projects to invite them as a possibility?
Absolutely. Some of them might be a little bit more chemistry than biology. But yeah, I mean.
All right, anyone else?
How many of your initial investments?
Wait.
How many of your initial investments have led to successful companies?
Yeah, so 65% of our companies raise their seed round after leaving us. And 5 of them are Series A, 1 of them just got a Series B, and so they're growing. 8% have folded, either due to technical challenges or due to team challenges, which was addressed earlier. The biggest failure points. Yeah.
How big is your fund?
Oh, so it's a little complicated. We are like a $250 million fund, but it's spread across multiple different accelerators. A good portion of that is devoted to IndieBio.
Any other questions? All right, then thank you so much.